Got a couple sets of news that came in today regarding the real estate market. One of them shows things are going great price wise. The other one shows if you're looking to then take that price and sell your home, you may have a harder time than you've had in a long time. Let's talk about it. Steve, real estate agent with the Malone Realty Group over here at EXP. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the market. So we got two sets of data we want to talk about. First, we got an update from the NAR, the National Association of Realtors. They've been looking at the numbers from Q2. Now, again, this is August 12th that we're posting this, so this is the end of June. So we're talking April, May, June. And they take all the numbers, put them in the big supercomputer, and kind of look at them, and they put out the report today that showed that the median existing single-family home in Q2, the price rose about 23% this year compared to last year. That's substantial. And we've talked about that. We talked about, especially here in the metro Atlanta area, say prices are up like 15 to 20% in some areas, or in some areas it's even higher than that. It's been just a crazy year because of the pandemic, because of the lack of inventory, things like that. So that is good news. If you have your home, the prices have gone up. It has definitely appreciated. But do keep in mind, though, things have drastically changed, and let's talk about why. First of all, these numbers, again, this is Q2, and these are the numbers from homes that sold. Those homes that sold, they actually went under contract middle of February through like middle May to late May to close in June. So you're talking about market conditions that were going on back in February. You're talking about middle of February. Right now we're in the middle of August. That's 6 months later. So a lot has changed in those 6 months. So again, take that with a grain of salt. Don't look at that and say, it's great, let me go and list my house and maybe list it for 10 or 15% higher, whatever, because things have definitely changed. And we've been talking about that, if you've been keeping up, that things are markedly different. So those are good numbers to say, you know what, things have improved. Things have improved to where we are now. But now here we are. Things have changed because I think that the market has shifted. We have a lot less buyers in the market. We have more homes coming on the market. We have fewer closings right now. Let's break down the numbers. So last month, we added 11,793 homes in the FMLS. When you look at the last 3-month period, it's the best 3-month period we've had since the same time last year. We had this very big dip in the middle part of that time period. We're talking about, December-ish, January-ish. There were, very little homes going on the market. And because of that, that's why you had such a huge buyer pool. The buyers never went away last year. There was never a quiet time for the buyers. The sellers, there was a quiet time for listing homes. And that's why if you were listing your home in February, March, April, May, you were really cashing in on the fact that there were very few sellers and a whole bunch of buyers. Now we have a lot more sellers, a little less buyers. So the supply and demand curve is kind of shifted a little bit. So keep that in mind. So again, 11,793 were added. Okay. And then when you look at the last 3 or 4 months, it's the highest that we've seen since the same time last year. So things are starting to ratchet back up. We're starting to get a little bit better. All right. So let's now look at the number of homes that have gone pending in the last month. So for July, the number was 8,511. Okay, so 8,511. That's the number that were pending. So those are houses that are going to come off the market, and we added 11,793. So I have to read off my sheet because, again, I'm old and I can't remember the numbers. So okay, there you go. And it's my YouTube channel, I can do that. 11,793 is what we added. We lost 8,511. So that's a difference of 3,400 homes, something like that. So I plugged that into the spreadsheet and kind of looked at everything. That's the biggest spread that we've seen since March of 2020, since just as the pandemic was starting to hit. So that's one of the best, the difference between the number of homes that were added and the number of homes that were pending, that are coming off the market. What does that mean? That means that as we widen that number, the number of homes that are added versus the number of homes that are sold, that means that we're definitely going to, increase the month supply of homes. We're definitely going to decrease the strength of the seller's market. We're going to increase buying power for the buyers. And the other thing is the interest rates are really, they're kind of holding steady right now. The beginning part of the year, everybody was worried about them going up, and there was a point probably like April, May where they started to go up a little bit. they've kind of tracked back down a little bit. So they kind of waver. It hasn't been a major jump back down, hasn't been a major jump back up. They've been kind of holding steady. There's a slight trajectory up, but I mean, they're still near historic lows. So the buyers still have buying power. They're finally getting the opportunity to, get in there and look at homes. But like we talked about, there's fewer homes pending, more homes being added. It's a little less leverage if you're selling your home. The other thing is, we talk to homes and to home buyers, home sellers every day that their homes have come off the market for one reason or the other. Either they've taken it off, or their listing expired. And we talked to them about what's going on in the market. Like, what are they seeing as far as buyer traffic? And what a lot of them have said is within the last couple weeks, end of July, early August, they've seen a very marked drop in foot traffic as far as buyers go. And we're seeing that from a lot of the FMLS stats. You talk about the number of showings per listing. That started to go down. You look at all of these metrics, and a lot of it is not unusual for this time of year. People, when they go back in and they go back to school in August, we get kind of this kind of low period, let's say like late July through the end of August, where it kind of goes a little quiet and then picks back up after Labor Day. So that's likely what we're seeing right now, and things should, again, pick back up after Labor Day. So I'm telling all my sellers, some of them are thinking, should we go in August? Should we go after Labor Day? I'm thinking if you want to take the best advantage of the market, and time it the best it can possibly be, and get the best deal possible, we may need to think about maybe waiting until after Labor Day to list, just because right now there's so few buyers that are looking. It's one of the smallest buyer pools that we've seen, since the beginning part of the pandemic. Probably is since the beginning part of the pandemic. So, it's one of those things where we just, every day and every week things change so much. So we try and update you. So keep in mind, just to recap, home prices way up compared to where they were this time last year. But does that mean that we're going to get crazy numbers if you're selling your house? At this point right now, that is not what that means. Keep in mind, the Delta variant's out there. Things are a little crazy right now. Let's see how the next 2 or 3 weeks plays out, because if for some reason some kind of crazy lockdown happens or something else happens, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 weeks. But that's something worth watching, because people are taking notice of this uptick in the number of COVID cases. How does that reflect in the market? Remains to be seen. That's why we post these updates once a week or once every other week, things like that. I want to keep you in the know. But if you want to know up to the minute numbers, give me a call. 470-233-4409. 470-233-4409. This is Steve, Malone Realty Group, eXp Realty. Take care. You all have a good night.